Hi friends, hope you are doing well. I'm Dr. Ganguly. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to discuss the top 15 countries in terms of journal and conference publications in the world, and I'm going to focus here on the STEM disciplines or the science and technology disciplines because that's where the data I got is from. So what this is going to tell you is what is the current ranking in terms of the number of papers published by a country, and why this is important and why various bodies follow this is because the papers being produced by a country are a sign of the scientific and technological depth of the country, the prowess of the country, and so on. And it also means that this country is going to have a lot of impact down the road, not only in science and technology, but also in terms of products, also in terms of software development, also in terms of the cumulative national power which this country has. So before I begin, I'll lay out some of the parameters from which this search has come. Essentially, these papers are published in Scopus. They are conference and journal papers taken from the science and engineering fields. And also here I would say that 2.9 million papers were published in the year 2020, and these 15 countries account for 76% of the world's output. So it's going to give you a good idea about these publications. Now do remember that whenever somebody does any research, the end product is a paper, and this paper is typically published in archive journals or in well-known conferences which are indexed in Scopus. Scopus is one of the well-known databases which are out there, which capture the different papers and scholarly works which are coming out from the scientific field. So let's begin with this particular topic. So number one country is China with 23% of the papers. Number two is US with 16%. Number three is India with 5%. Number four is Germany with 3.7%, and number five is UK with 3.6%. So these are the top 5 countries, and you will see, of course, that China is now publishing nearly a quarter of the publications in the world at 23%, and USA is next at 16%, and the third is India at 5%. So that's quite a distance from US. So the top two are China and US. Now let's continue with this list further. Number 6 is Japan with 3.4%. Number 7 is Russia with 3.1%. Number 8 is Italy at 3%. Number 9 is South Korea at 2.9%, and number 10 is Brazil at 2.5%. So one of the things which this numbering system lets you do is it lets you figure out countries which are strong in terms of research. If you are planning to do a master's, PhD, or even a bachelor's degree in any country, so, and certainly if you are planning to do postdoc in any country, so keep these numbers in mind there. That's a practical application of this beyond the public policy type of debate. Now to continue this further, number 11 is France at 2.3%. Number 12 is Canada at 2.2%. Number 13 is Spain at 2.2%. Number 14 is Australia at 2.1%, and number 15 is Iran at 2%. So essentially you see that these 15 countries contribute almost 76% of the world's output. So we can say this is 3/4 of the world output is being contributed by the 15 countries here. Now do remember some of these countries have much lower population than the remaining countries, so keep that in mind that we are not talking of per capita publication here, we are talking of the cumulative publication. So if you are thinking of per capita, for example, some of the countries which have much lower population, for example the UK, would have a much higher per capita publication than say India in that case, because UK is publishing 3.6% of the papers and India is publishing 5% of the papers. So these are something to keep in mind. Now this is important because papers which are being published today have a big impact down the road. As you know that papers are the reason why science progresses. So essentially science is a sequential process. People publish papers and then these papers are cited somewhere else, and then they lead to more papers and so on. And if you look at any big award, any big discovery such as the Nobel Prize or the Fields Medal or any of the well-known prizes around the world, the Abel Prize and so on, it all starts out with publication. So whatever is published today, the Nobel Prize of that may be given 20, 30 or even 50 years down the road, because it takes a lot of time for papers to make impact. But this does tell you that some of these countries are making a good contribution to science and technology, and therefore you can consider these countries as countries which are strong in research. Now, I will give you a link to this particular document in the description box, and you can check it out, and this will certainly give you some insight about the technology and policy debates which are going on around the world. So there is a lot of consternation in US, for example, that China has become the #1 publisher in the world in terms of science and technology. So that's something to keep in mind. So I'll end this video here, and I will see you in a video sometime soon. See you then.